Hello everyone and welcome to this month's video. As you can probably guess by the title, this month I'm going to be reviewing the Smart Art box, the August 2020 box. Now Smart Art actually reached out to me and asked me if I fancied reviewing their August box. So this video is officially not sponsored, but they did send me this free box to try out. So I thought I'd tell you a little bit about it, but first let's open this up. Now at this point I had basically taken the sellotape off the box, but I had not actually looked inside. And the first thing I noticed, because I have never actually had a subscription box before. The last one I had was a very long time ago and it was a gift and I never actually did anything with it. The first thing I noticed is this brochure which has tips, guides and of course the products in, and I thought I'd have a look at that later. So the first thing I noticed was these beautiful brushes and the pen, which is a Tombow pen, which I actually do have one of these. It's a big one. I've got a brush pen review coming up, talking about brush pens and which ones I like personally, coming up soon. And I noticed these. Now, for those who are new to my channel, I do a lot of art supply reviews and I think it's super important, and especially when it comes to alcohol markers. I have been keeping my eye on these Illustrator Spectrum Noir for a review and was super excited about it. And I saw this fountain pen, like Indian ink, and I was very excited about that, especially considering we've got Inktober coming up, and I was super excited. And then the paper, and I was trying to think, like, what are we going to do with these art supplies? At this point, I hadn't looked through the book and wasn't sure. I had a few ideas, and then when I opened the book, I suddenly realised it's Chinese brush painting. Now, I was very, very excited about this. I have not done Chinese brush painting in a very, very long time. And this is a beautiful skill. It is absolutely wonderful. And it is an art form which is wonderfully recommended, especially if you want to try something with very loose brush strokes. The first thing I noticed is looking through this, not only does it tell you the art supplies, it gives you a guide on how to use them, a small project to work on, and of course tips and tricks and pointers at the back. This absolutely blew my mind. Like, everything that you could possibly need for a project. There's plenty of paper in here, and they have like little weekly prompts that you can try out. They have a weekly art challenge, and that to me straight away just completely blew my mind. I was really, really surprised about this. Simply because not only has it given me the tools to be able to do a project, but it also gave me tools to work on more than one thing. So I'm going to quickly show you through the Smart Art website to give you a little bit more information about this. Now I actually knew about this box by Draw with Jazza, and I have seen a few other YouTubers, look for some very similar names on there, that I have seen them do reviews of these boxes before, and I've never really gone for art subscription boxes, but looking through the website I was actually pleasantly surprised. Not only can you buy previous boxes, but they have these bundle packs. Now this is the thing that I was super excited about, in particular the fact that they have these bundles. I really want to get this coloured pencil bundle and see what kind of project they tell you to do with that. But there are so many video reviews out there, and it also shows you what kind of plans you can go for. It is $49.95 a month for this. Now the supplies that you do get in here are really good quality supplies. If you are looking for something that can broaden your horizons and try something new, maybe this is the subscription box for you. As well as that, you can earn points. Now I love earning points. I earn points whenever I do my Zap Creatives order, and I was super excited about that. But if I'm honest, my first impressions, I was very, very impressed. Now you're done with me talking about the actual box and gushing over how surprised I was with the quality overall. Definitely pricing this up, it is quite worth it. I'm one of those, I'm kind of a bit and ahhing about subscription boxes, because I like to get art supplies, sometimes test them out, see what I think, and try out different techniques. And that can be quite difficult because art supplies can be very expensive. Now, I have tried a subscription box in the past and was massively disappointed with it because it gave me no instructions on how to use the supplies, and the supplies seemed random, not really something that I could make a project with. So that kind of put me off getting art subscription boxes. But if you have a box like this, which is tailored towards making a project and enhancing a skill and making you try something different at a pretty reasonable price, even though I do think $50 can be quite expensive, because it's around about $50 for a box, I would say that these supplies are definitely worth $50. They are not cheap in any way, shape or form, considering one of these brushes goes for about £8 to £16, depending on which one you are going for. I've seen these all the time in art shops, and it kind of brought out a wave of nostalgia for me. A bit of a fun story actually about Chinese brush painting. When I was a little high school Sophie, we had a teacher come in and he showed us through how to do Chinese brush painting, and he painted these beautiful koi fish, and I remember being massively impressed with that. And it was something about the way that he painted just really had this wave of like inspiration for me. And I'm talking, I was very young. I think I was like 10 or 11 at the time, and I just remember watching him paint and being super impressed with it. And you know, back then, I'll say back then, it's quite a while ago now, it's over 15 years ago, it was something that had like such a thing for me that if there was YouTube or something at the time, I definitely would have gone down a rabbit hole to watch. But this definitely brought back that wave of nostalgia for me. So the first thing I did was I followed the instructional thing that they had inside there to do their instructional project, which is you can create this pretty sakura branch. Now the only thing that I disliked was the markers that are with this are rich tones, which is absolutely fine, but because we've already got quite a dark painting, even though it does dry quite lighter, it's kind of darkens the color a lot more. It would have been better if it had a slightly lighter palette, maybe a pastel tone palette, just because you've already got so many dark tones in there. It would have been good to have a lighter tone to be able to juxtapose against that. I have done like ink washes before. I do ink washes every time for Inktober. This entire project just had me so excited for Inktober. I genuinely was massively so excited about this. After doing my initial brush strokes, I decided to do my own project, and I wanted to do a dragon. And the reason why I wanted to do a dragon was because when I was doing testing earlier, I just really loved the way that the movement had with the brush and how beautiful it turned out. And it does dry a lot lighter than you do anticipate. So as I'm going over with the Tombow liner, going back to those skills where it says to deepen certain areas, I was deepening certain areas by adding more washes of ink, as well as enhancing my line work using the Tombow brush pen. Now I probably went a little bit overhead with this, but I just really wanted to draw a dragon inspired by the Chinese brush painting skills. Tried to use a few different techniques, especially the blotting technique, spreading the brush to create like the fanning technique. It was just there is some really fun, interesting ways that you can create an illustration with these. And would I go back and get one of these boxes? That's obviously the key point, and the matter of fact is I probably will. If it's a project in particular that I am super excited about, I will definitely go and try that out and do something more. You know, at the end of the day, I'd like to enhance my skills. I'd like to try something different, and that's something that's been very prominent across my channel. I like to try new techniques. I like to try new things that get me out of my comfort zone, and this in a way it did get me out of my comfort zone, but I was massively familiar with some of the techniques. It sort of brought out a wave of nostalgia for me. But overall, I had an awful lot of fun, and this box was definitely a surprise, and I really, really enjoyed this. Definitely something I can recommend to other people. Now, art subscription boxes can be very hit or miss, and it's about your value for money and did you learn a new skill. Were the products in this of the appropriate value to the box? Absolutely, especially if you count the fact that certain supplies would have been more expensive than others. Did it give me everything to complete a project? Yes, it gave me plenty of paper, ink, brushes. I'm gonna have ink I've got ink for days. I have a brush, I have brushes which I can try out some new techniques, and I probably will be using some of these techniques for Inktober this year. Did I enjoy my overall experience? Absolutely. I was grinning the entire time I was doing this, and on top of that, it's given me extra supplies so I can complete more than one of that project, and it's something that is really good. And this is something that some craft boxes tend to fail on, that they don't give you enough to even complete the project or do more than one of that project. My biggest disappointment with this box was the markers. I'm not a fan of brush markers. I find that they dry out far too quickly, but even after the paper was, I'm talking like an hour bone dry, the markers were they weren't performing as well as I would like them to, but I'm going to do a more in-depth review for these markers just because I know how important it is for me. Since I've done a fair few marker reviews, I think I'm going to get another pack of these and then give a full-on review for the actual markers themselves. I was pretty disappointed with the markers. I found that the markers were very dark in tone, and as really cool as they look here with the light and the dark and the clouds, these tones are very rich and very deep. It would have been better if we were given a pastel palette or a lighter palette, just so that when you are working through, it gives that dark ink a little bit more time to shine. If I'm doing ink washes, I tend to stick with slightly lighter colours because you already have so much dinginess and so much darkness from the ink already. It gives it a slightly lighter tone. So here is everything. Honestly, I was pleasantly surprised by this, and it's made me really think about getting more art subscription boxes in the future. Let me know in the comment section down below if you get an art subscription box and would you recommend it. And this overall was massively pleasantly surprising. It gave me projects to do, gave me techniques to learn from, even gave me pointers, and of course gave me plenty of product. Really impressed by this, Smart Art. You've done a fantastic job on this. And I had fun, and that's clearly the most important part. I hope you have enjoyed this video and found this video somewhat informative, and whether or not you are umming and ahhing about a decision on getting the Smart Art subscription box. Here is some wonderful art that you have tagged me in online. It is amazing to see your work and your creativity. It's always so exciting to see what you guys draw. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Make sure to subscribe if you wish to see more content. But as always, folks, stay creative.